Hello, guys. Welcome back. So, goddess of the day is Athena. She's been waiting a while, and I actually had to light a candle and do some sage for her because I love her very deeply, but she can be impatient sometimes when she works with us. She can start to push, not in a mean way, but in a she's very much she will work with men, but she's very much a woman's goddess, and she's like, you don't understand. You're a woman. You have to hustle. You have to work harder. You have to be twice as good to even barely get any recognition. Men aren't going to like to hear that, but it's the truth, gentlemen. Women have to be smarter, tougher, and harder. So she's very much a goddess with women that she's not going to let you lounge around. She does have a very warm and loving side, but if she thinks you need to hustle and you need to get out there, she's going to push you, and she's not going to have mercy because she is very concerned with women. You don't have to look hard on Pinterest to find the pin of, Medusa's head was actually, they found, used to donate women's shelters in ancient Greece. So, as terrible as things were for women in that time, they still had women's shelters, and the temples would be marked with the Medusa head. So, Athena is always and ever been connected with the protection of women and protecting women who have been assaulted and everything else that has happened to women. So she's a good protectress of women first and foremost. Consider her birth. Her mother Metis was the first consort of Zeus, was swallowed or absorbed. Athena was still in there. And Athena is intellect, a goddess of intellect, and she's trapped in Zeus's head. She's trapped in his mind, and she needs out. So the best way they could explain it then is that Hephaestus came and cracked open Zeus's head. And she sprung forth fully ready for war, beyond pissed at her father because he swallowed her mom, and that was her mother, she still loves her mother. And you can still, I get the sense you can still work with Metis. She's just fine. You can't kill a goddess, you really can't. She's just fine. It was just a story of, I think, Zeus supplanting her. And I'm getting this big nod, like that makes sense. And she was extremely beautiful. All the gods and goddesses were in awe of how beautiful she was, but she was also armed for battle. She wasn't having anybody's shit. And, her father absolutely fell in love with her because she came out fully formed. She was ready for war. Zeus approves of this, and she was extremely intelligent, and Zeus approves of that. So she became, in a sense, Zeus doted on her. And so he promised her the same city he had promised to Poseidon. And we don't know how long after her, birth this happened, but Poseidon wasn't going to give up the city. He said, no, you promised it to me first. You're always doing this, brother. And, Poseidon is not the easiest Greek god to get along with. I love and respect him, but he's not. And Athena suggested that, why don't we have a contest? Whoever impresses these people most can have a city. He's like, fine, I'm Poseidon. So he strikes the ground with his trident, and a salt spring issues forth. Now today we could think of 5 million things to do with a spring, but back then they weren't impressed. It was salt water, it was seawater. And Athena very thoughtfully thought about it, and she planted the first olive tree, and the people saw they would get oil and wood and food, and probably all these uses of olive leaves and everything else out of it. So they chose Athena because they thought that was a far wiser and more useful gift. Poseidon got his revenge, but Athena became the patron goddess of Athens. She is a goddess of intellect. She is a goddess of higher learning. A lot of students will work with her. She will push you though. You don't go to Athena and say, I want an A on this test. If you want an A on this test, you're going to work towards it. If you have, like, say, a learning disability or you're not grasping something, you can go to her and say, I'm having trouble and I'm struggling. I am trying, and then she can help you. But you don't not crack a book for 16 weeks in college and then expect her to give you an A. She's not the goddess of that. She's the goddess of, you should have been trying the whole time. Don't come to me now, don't come to her the night before and think she's going to grant you a miracle. If you've at least been struggling, she will help you. If you haven't, she's going to ignore you at best. So she's also a goddess of war in that she's a goddess of battle strategy. Not that she won't fight, not that she's not brave, but she's the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. So she's the goddess of strategizing how you're going to do things. Um, let's see, what else is she? She's also the goddess of weaving. And we all know the tale of Arachne. Arachne was making fun of the gods and boasting that she was a better weaver than even Athena. And remember, Athena is the patron goddess of weavers, so she was basically making fun of her own patroness. Why she decided to do this, I don't know. Maybe Arachne was drunk that day, but she kept it up and she kept it up and she kept it up. And Athena can ignore you for a very long time, but then eventually, even she, in that Greek fashion, has to be honored and respected to a certain point. So she showed up as an old woman. And being Athena, she showed up in this old woman disguise and she says, you know, I understand you're very proud of your gift, but that's a gift from Athena. If you would take this gift and you would apologize to Athena and you would go do things at her temple, she will forgive you and you might even have more talent. You know, Athena's trying to be really nice here. And Arachne won't have any of it. And she's still making fun of Athena and saying she's a better weaver than Athena, which, even if you were, you'd be really dumb to mention. And I gain this smile. So Athena throws out off her disguise and she goes, fine, you wouldn't take a warning. We're going to have this contest. And you better hope you win. And Arachne is highly skilled. She's a wonderful weaver, but instead of, they could have picked anything for their subject. She starts doing all the foibles of the gods, all the embarrassing moments that people say happen to the gods. That's what she's weaving into this tapestry. And keep in mind, tapestries were meant to be hung out in the public where everybody could see them. She wasn't going to weave this tapestry and then hang it away, put it away somewhere. She was going to probably find the most prominent place to hang it, if not sell it to somebody who didn't like the gods and then have them hang it somewhere prominent. So, she's out to embarrass and humiliate the gods, where Athena in her weaving is showing all the highlights, all the strengths and attributes and the gifts that God should give to people. Not should give, do give to people. And they come to the end of the contest and Arachne realizes she screwed up because Athena looks at her tapestry and gets really quiet, because remember, she just humiliated the whole entire Greek pantheon in front of the goddess who gave her the gift of weaving in the first place. Athena loses it, as she should, as a goddess, and she destroys the tapestry and destroys the loom. Arachne, realizing she's wakened up the wrath of a goddess and she's not as strong and impervious as the little shit thought she was, tries to run off. She tries, in some versions, to hang herself before the goddess can visit her wrath on her. Athena is quicker and turns her into a spider and tells her, you like to weave so much, you can do it for all eternity. And that's where spiders come from. So she's associated with weaving, with spiders, with, Medusa, so with snakes, with owls, with wisdom. I can't think of like a um owl story directly related to her, but I think it's often like a little tiny owl, a little cute tiny one. That's the owl she's connected with, but all owls are good. So overall, she's a really good goddess to work with, and this is going to be super short because we just don't have 5 million Athena stories to go with. And when you work with her, she's pretty straightforward. She can be very warm and loving. She does have that warm, loving, nurturing side, but it's one of those things where I love her very much. I love her very deeply, but she does have a temperament of, it feels like she goes off and she works on stuff and she's leaving you on your own. She's trusting you to do the work, but when she comes back and you don't have the work done, it's like the pressure keeps stepping up and stepping up. So she can get a little impatient and she can get very disappointed in you, and then she shuts down and you don't see her for a long time. I love her, but do be aware that, she does kind of have this time frame, like, say, who am I thinking? Poseidon and Hades have a time frame that if you're not on board right away, sometimes she can do that. And if you're one of those people like me that you like to have time and you like to have a couple days or weeks or something to think something over and plan your strategy, she will not give it to you. Now, she's not going to be sympathetic if I don't think I did well enough, because I've had all these weeks where she's been goading me to do a video, and I have been thinking about it, but it's like, as long as you're putting pressure on me, I can't think. And that's one of the things it seems like she doesn't seem to understand that, some people don't work well under pressure. So that's kind of a thing to think about. She can be very warm and loving, but she does kind of have that high pressure side to her too that can make her a challenge to work with. So if you like a more laid back, kind goddess, I would recommend Aphrodite, who, does know her stuff and definitely knows her love magic and stuff. And she can do battle and war too, Aphrodite. But, I'm not trying to disrespect Athena in her own video, but she's not laid back. She's not laid back. She can, once the work is done, she's very warm, she's very kind. Then you have room to relax. But if you're like me and you can shut down or you can panic or something, if you have a deadline, sometimes you need to tell her, I'm sorry, I just don't work that way. Then she can be more sympathetic. I know she doesn't truly understand. I've never got the sense she understands that because she's just not built that way, but then she can, be more sympathetic. So she's good for, everything. She seems to like the other gods and goddesses in the pantheon just fine. I wouldn't put her in the same room with Poseidon only because Poseidon seems to have a habit of going over there and seeing what Athena's got and what's Athena doing now? And Athena, because Athens, I love Poseidon, I respect him. I wouldn't put them in the same room unless they ask you. Then you can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't put them in the same room. It's like she won't start stuff, but he will, and Athena eventually will run out of his patience and respond. She won't stop you from working with Poseidon, but if you are working with Poseidon and something goes wrong, she will be the first one to point out, what did I tell you? So she is good though. She is good. She doesn't seem to think much of me working with Dionysus, but she's not going to step in and stop it either. She is intellect, so it's kind of hard to get her to understand that part of the atmosphere. She's not much of one for that part of the atmosphere. She can get along more with, say, the more intellectual gods. So her father, she loves just fine. Apollo, anyone that has an intellectual facet to their capacity, she can get along with them. So if Dionysus is doing theater stuff and doing something more higher order, she can get along with that just fine. She might not be interested in it. If it's something that she's not interested in, she's not even going to pretend. But, she can do that just fine. Overall, she's very good for women's rights and she's very good for protecting women, young girls as well. Overlaps with Artemis there. But she's not going to exactly be, she can have that warm side, but she's not going to be one of the warmest goddesses, for on a day-to-day basis. She has her own warmth, but it's more reserved. It's more, she's very proud of being Athena. She loves being a goddess, but it's not that warm, cuddly earth goddess, come over, hug you, bake you cookies love. So I'm trying to be respectful. I'm kind of getting pressured, so I don't think I did the best job ever. But Athena wanted her video, and I try to warn her. I said, "My lady, I love you, but you're putting pressure on me. I don't work well under pressure, and that's kind of a thing to know. She will sometimes give you a deadline, and she wants it today. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye."